Hey everyone! So here's the scoop. I just broke up with my rich boyfriend over a prenup. We've been together for about 2 years and everything was going great. We were even talking about getting married. But then, he dropped the bombshell that he wouldn't marry me without a prenup. When we sat down to discuss the details, I was not happy with what he proposed. His family owns a ton of property and has a lot of savings. After we got married, he wanted us to move into one of his parents' houses. I told him I wasn't comfortable building a life and a family in a house I didn't own any part of. He just didn't get it. I suggested renting a place together or living temporarily in one of his parents' houses while we looked for a place to buy together. But he flat out refused. He liked his family's properties and didn't want to buy anything new with me. He even said if I wanted to own property, I could save up and buy one myself. But then he'd be entitled to half if we ever got divorced, since it would happen after we got married. He told me I could pay his parents' rent if I felt like I didn't belong. Or I could buy half of the house we lived in from his parents. The problem? I don't even like the houses his family owns. They're full of their stuff, and there's no space for me. I want to choose a home with my partner, not just fit into the life he's already built. I've reiterated my feelings over and over, but he won't budge. He earns more and has more assets, which is fine. But he's made it clear he's afraid I'll be a gold digger and just wants to protect his family's wealth. I get that, but it's made me feel really weird and small. It feels like all he cares about are his assets, and that he wants me only as long as I fit into his pre-made life. I don't want to feel like a gold digger. He can retire now and live comfortably, while I can't. He expects us to split earnings and savings after marriage, which feels off to me. I want a partnership where we build a life together. So I'm leaving him. I need to protect my peace. If anyone has opinions, I'd love to hear them. But yeah, it's been too long feeling off about our relationship. For some context, he mentioned the prenup early on, but kept it vague, assuring me we'd work it out later. I never really knew how much his family had. I only heard bits from casual comments. When we finally sat down to clarify things, he still tried to dodge my questions. It took forever to get the details out of him. Update. A lot's happened since. Here's some important context. I've got a stable, rewarding career. I earn less than him, but I'm happy with what I can afford. My parents taught me to be independent, and I've always lived below my means, saving and investing wisely. People have suggested I should take the free rent to get ahead financially, but autonomy and control over my home are crucial to me. I saved aggressively while living with my parents until I turned 30, so I'm financially stable enough to afford rent or a mortgage on my own. Plus, he expected the living arrangement to be permanent, and I didn't want to give up my independence for potential savings. If he's this stubborn now, I can't see things improving after moving in. Sure, I could insist on a prenup that keeps my assets mine or ensures I get alimony or a roof over my head if we divorce, but that feels really transactional. It gives off roommate vibes rather than partner vibes. I want us to build something together. He can keep what's his, but I want to create something that's ours. Splitting everything completely would just open up a whole new can of worms about how we'd manage expenses. So yeah, I'm out. So here I am working my butt off while he's just lounging around. I started wondering about what things would be like if we had kids. Sure, he's got money saved up for the future, but do I get any say in how we spend it? I mean, we could probably figure it out, but this just isn't the kind of marriage I imagined. I can't predict every single thing that'll happen, and I don't think a contract can cover everything either. It's already been so emotionally draining for me, honestly. Anyway, yada yada, it felt like I was losing my independence, getting stonewalled, and being treated like the bad guy. So, let's move on to updates. I told him we needed to break up. I did appreciate and genuinely enjoy our time together, but our financial values and the lifestyle we envision for marriage just don't match. Surprisingly, the breakup talk was super quick and easy. I thought it'd be a whole drawn-out process, given how intertwined our lives are. Plus, I'm pretty close to his family, so obviously they got involved during all this. I gotta say, I love his parents. I'd often go to their place for food, chats, and even some TV time. Sometimes I'd even attend their parties without my ex if he was busy. A few days after the breakup talk, I went over to say goodbye. I wasn't sure if the prenup was something his family pushed, so I kept it vague and focused on how I felt about the whole situation and what I wanted from a relationship. His parents were totally shocked when I explained why I was leaving. Here's the gist. His folks really want grandkids. His younger brother and sister-in-law don't want kids, so his parents were thrilled when they found out I did. They built their wealth together, with his dad mainly bringing in the money. His mom was shocked at the prenup terms he offered me, saying it didn't reflect the values he was raised with. She's been basically retired for 15 years and said she never felt uncomfortable despite the earning differences. They built their assets for themselves and their kids, including whoever their kids decide to marry. They own multiple properties and enough investments to live off. They plan to either sign over a house as a wedding gift or give us cash to buy one we liked. As they aged, they intended to divide the properties evenly between my ex and his brother. His mom assured me my name would be on my ex's share, especially since we wanted kids. Investments would go to funds for the grandkids after they're gone. Maybe this is what my ex meant when he said the kids would be set, though it felt a bit morbid. His mom wanted to ensure the mother of her grandbabies was taken care of and on equal footing while raising a family. Honestly, this conversation felt like a huge weight off my shoulders. I always felt included in their family, but the prenup talks left me confused and hurt. What they said matched what I knew about them and my ex. I'd be lying if I said I didn't start imagining this life. I talked to my ex again. He explained his dad once joked about avoiding gold diggers, which stuck with him. He felt responsible to protect his parents' assets and didn't feel entitled to them, so by extension, neither was I. Sons carry on the family line in his culture, so he thought he had to keep assets within the family. Most of the assets were actually under his parents' names, and he never asked their opinion on what to do. He just did what he thought was right. He admitted he wasn't well off himself, so his assets shouldn't come between us. This seemed confusing since it felt like he was trying to hold on to his wealth instead of sharing. He felt he was punching above his weight with me, scared I'd leave because I'm more intelligent, hardworking, beautiful, etc. Instead of sharing his fears, he got defensive. He'd made comments about me being out of his league before, but I thought they were just compliments. He's such a caring, funny, intelligent guy, just in a different way than me. I knew he wasn't super confident, but I didn't realize his insecurities ran this deep. He apologized repeatedly for making me feel excluded and insisted he wanted to share a life with me. His fears got the better of him, and he didn't handle it well, taking advantage of my patience and lashing out. It breaks my heart because this all could have been avoided. We've been through similar issues before, but they were smaller compared to planning our future. I pushed him towards individual counseling and we did couples therapy, but I can't make him confront his emotions or use the tools we learned. The prenup talks dragged on for ages. He had plenty of chances to slow down and think things through. So he wasn't really listening to me at all, just going on about whatever he wanted. Then out of nowhere, he sits right in front of me and says everything he said before wasn't what he meant. He says he's all in now, ready to take care of me and future kids, and maybe even buy a house together or rent if I prefer. He's suddenly not scared of building a life together, which is the complete opposite of what he was saying before. It's crazy how he confidently said all those hurtful things before, without considering my feelings, even though I kept trying to explain how I felt. For months, he didn't even try to see my side. I know his parents are offering a good deal, and we get along well, but I'm not marrying his parents. I can't have his mom in every argument or decision we make. Thinking back, I can count on one hand the times he's dealt with issues without throwing a fit. Yeah, he's a nice guy, but I can't keep picking up the pieces every time he needs to sort out his emotions. It's exhausting. He's smart and intuitive, had 2 years to learn how to communicate with me, but hasn't. I honestly don't know if what he said is genuine, or if it's his parents speaking, or just him scared of losing me. I could give him another chance like I've done before, but I'm tired. I think this is something we could fix, but I haven't seen any improvement since we started dating. If anything, it's gotten worse. I'm done investing in who he could be instead of who he is now. If the past few months show how he handles stress, then I can't expect things to change. This whole experience has left me feeling sour. I don't need a lot, but I do expect love and support, even when we disagree. I can't just forget the hurtful words and feelings. I can't unhear him thinking I'm a gold digger, among other hurtful comments. Life's going to have more ups and downs, and if this is how we communicate, I can't see us making it. That's why I'm choosing to walk away. It's different from leaving because of a prenup, but it's leaving nonetheless, and honestly, it hurts more. I know it'll hurt for a while, but I hope I'm avoiding future heartache. Who knows, if it's meant to be, maybe we'll find our way back. For now, I've told him and his family I need space and time. It feels like I'm giving up a lot, but there's more to the story than I can share here. I wrote this earlier but didn't post because it didn't feel over. Now, after some time, I know it is. It's been tough, only a couple of months, but I'm sure I made the right call. It's hard watching everyone coupled up and having kids, but it is what it is. I'm proud of myself for leaving, and I'm slowly healing. Thanks to everyone for your comments and DMs. Sorry I couldn't reply to everyone, but I appreciate you all. Now, on to the next story. Story 2. Secret DNA test revealed the baby wasn't mine. Hey everyone, I'm 38 and my wife's 26. We've been married for 3 years and together for 5. Our son just turned 2 in early June, and to be blunt, he looks biracial. His skin's darker than I thought it'd be. He's got curly hair, which neither of us do, and his features just don't look like ours. And we're both white. He's a beautiful boy, but he doesn't look 100% white. A few days after his birthday, I asked my wife if she thought our son looked white. She said yes and got defensive, asking if I was accusing her of something. I said no because I wasn't, just curious. After a fight and my apology, I still couldn't shake the feeling, so I did something kinda shitty and got a DNA test done behind her back. The results came back a few days ago, and it turns out I'm not my son's dad. It's messing with my head because I love him, but knowing he's not mine biologically is tough to swallow. Our son definitely prefers me, and he's my world, but now I'm in a mix of emotions about my wife. I'm angry, confused, and feel so betrayed. I still love her, but don't know how to bring this up. She's at work, and I don't want to disturb her there, but I feel like I'm going to explode. It's hard to process. I can't think of when she might have cheated. We always shared our locations for safety, and I can't think of any suspicious friends. We go on regular dates, our bedroom life was fine, and we were trying for a baby around that time. Ever since we got married, she's been over the moon, showing off her ring and talking about me like a teenager in love. How do I tell her that I know? I don't even know what I want to do yet. It sounds stupid, but I've been stewing on it for days. I still love her so much. Maybe someone can knock some sense into me. I need help. Edit. I'm overwhelmed with the comments. Sorry I couldn't reply to many. Thank you all for commenting. I kinda hoped our baby was just swapped at birth, as terrible as that sounds. If his skin hadn't darkened over time, I'd have never questioned anything. Genetics can be weird sometimes. Update. Not sure if anyone will see this since the subreddit doesn't allow updates after 48 hours. But here goes. My son isn't mine. I'm devastated and will be divorcing my wife. We talked a few days after my post and she cracked under pressure. She admitted to cheating without me even mentioning the DNA test. All I asked was if she really thought our son looked white. She cried and begged for forgiveness, saying we can still be a happy family. But my image of her shattered right then. I'm heartbroken, currently living with my parents. She told me she'd leave her phone in a location and use another to cheat. She said it was a mistake and an accident. But how is it a mistake if you planned it out? We were trying for a baby, and she said she couldn't handle the pressure and wanted to escape. She still got pregnant and acted like everything was perfect. Thanks again to everyone. My wife is now my ex-wife. I'm sorry to anyone who hoped for a baby switch situation. I'm somewhat relieved it wasn't because that would be terrible, but extremely disappointed because he really isn't mine. No more DNA tests are needed. She admitted everything and showed me text messages. This is my last update because I just want to move on. I'll figure out the custody stuff and get through this. Thanks again, everyone. Goodbye.